Okay, we're in the pinball spot, and this video is going to be 3/4 teaching and 1/4 questions for other techs. I have 2 questions at the end. So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about Genie. Let's boot it up, turn it on, and you're going to see, right now you can see 4 lights locked on. Hasn't even booted yet. Well, let's talk about so there's 2 separate issues on here. As you can see, there's 4 locked on lamps, but there's also another problem when you start the game, and this is completely different. 2 separate problems we're going to go over today. This is, as you can see, the B. We're going to start with the easiest problem first. So as you can see, the B is not lit. So now what I do anyway, the first thing I would like to do to test that, I mean, that's when you have 2 out like that, 2 B's out like that, I mean, that's screaming bad transistor, but I mean, you want to check it first. So what I like to do is I get a known working socket and bulb, brand new, with 2 alligator clips, and I get underneath there, clip one on each, and see if it lights the bulb. If it does light the bulb, then you got a bad socket. If it doesn't light the bulb, then you look elsewhere at the... So anyways, I was able to trace this to the solenoid driver board MPS A13 transistor. And I'll tell you how I figured that out is I took the solenoid driver board out of this machine, Genie, put it in this known working countdown, and what I found was that that green light there was out. The green light under the targets. So I have the schematics for countdown, and I went through and found that it was number 10. It was transistor number 10. So then I took my DMM, digital multimeter, and I tested the transistor 10, and it tested bad. And that saved me from having to test all, I don't know what there is, 25, 30, whatever it is on there, I don't know. I didn't have to test them all. I tested 10. I tested 10 as bad. So, unfortunately, I don't have any MPS A13s in stock. Of course, I have the MPS, I got the U45. But that repair, that B, is going to be repaired once I get the right transistor. So that's going to be easy enough. Just replace the transistor and you're good. The bigger problem here is these locked on lamps. Now they don't score, so if I hit this special, it's not going to give me a game. So they don't function. The lights are locked on, but they don't function. And I'll show you if I achieve the special. Now that special is legally lit now. Let's hit them now. There, we got a game. So I mean, the functionability of the machine is 100%. So right now, as you can see, there's 4 and 5 times bonus light. If I was to lose the ball, let's get some bonus. I got, what have I got? 9,000. Let's get 10,000 bonus. Now, I'm not going to get 40 or 50,000 bonus. I'm going to get 10,000 bonus, and I'll show you. So it functions fine. There's no problem with the function. So let's get to the harder problem. The harder problem is, what is causing these 4 lights to lock on? Well, it could be something on the solenoid driver board. It could be something on the MPU. There's a 74175 chip, or chips, and they control 4 lamps. They're on the solenoid driver board. They control 4 lamps, so it could be that. The easier way for me, rather than test those chips, the easier way for me was to take Countdown's solenoid driver board, put it in Genie. I still had the 4 locked lamps on. So I've divided the problem in half. I've eliminated the solenoid driver board, which tells me the problem was, or is, something to do with the MPU. Now, it could be 2 things on the MPU. Let's get in here and open them up and see. Let me get some light. Let me get some light here. Alright. So, still on. Now, there's two chips. There's Z24 and Z25. They're the 7404 inverter chips right in there. I don't know if you can see them, but it could be that, or it could also be right there, that connector there, because there's a lot of battery corrosion that happens in there. And in this case, I've tested those chips as fine. So I know or I think that it's something to do with that connector there. Now, as you can see, this is hardwired in. When I bought this machine, somebody had soldered those wires all there. So, unfortunately, I can't take the MPU out and replace it with another MPU. But what I can do, and what I've done in the past, I had some other light problems in the past. I forget exactly what was going on, but it wasn't those four. It was something else. And what I ended up doing was I ended up removing the MPU and bringing it. I can get it down, face down. There's enough room to do that. And what I did was I applied a little solder on the fingers on the other side of this. I don't know if you can see. I don't have the light in here now, but on the other side of this connector, you have your fingers. And I applied solder. It was a pain in the butt. The solder was hard to stick, but I applied solder to it, and it corrected the issue. So this is new. This has just come back. So now we're going to get into now that we've got the teaching done, we're going to get into the questions. I have two questions for you techs out there. One question is, can anybody tell me, because the only choice I have right now is I've got to get back in there, bring this board out, and I've got to reflow solder on a finger that's causing, because again, I didn't mention that these chips, they send the signals, the lights, in fours. So there's one line that's controlling those four. So my question for you techs out there, let me get the light here. I would like to know, before I start getting in there and resoldering, again, I don't want to start soldering them all because I'm going to possibly do damage, heat damage to the traces, lift a trace. I want to know if somebody can pinpoint me to exactly which finger that I should be applying some solder to correct this issue. And another question is, rather than use solder, I've read somewhere that there's another method of applying something, and I don't know if it's a kind of a metallic sticker or a brush-on sort of something that does the same sort of thing, conducts and corrects those corroded fingers. So if someone has another idea, I really don't, if I can avoid it, I'd rather not have to get in there with the soldering iron and heat that up again and reflow solder. I found it was a pain in the butt. I found that the solder didn't stick very well. So I'm looking for I have two questions here. One is, which finger am I going to deal with there? I don't want to have to deal with them all. And second, is there any other option other than reflowing solder? So those are my two questions. Thank you for watching.